Now talking about the strategy of the 65 war. Firstly, if you see the defense of Punjab, the Majha district of Punjab, that is west of the Beas River, up to the border of Pakistan, because Ravi, as you know, in Pathankot is on the Indian side, but it flows to Lahore, which is on the Pakistan side, because the Ravi goes and joins the Indus eventually. Those waters were given to us. So though we had canal systems and dams to bring the water to India, but the fact is this war, 65 in September, was post-monsoon, and all those extra waters were going to Pakistan. So Ravi and its bridges are got water, not very high water, not very deep, but nonetheless the ground around the Ravi and the bunds of the Ravi overflow during the monsoon because of flooding. So you have bunds on both sides of the Ravi, and you have flood bunds beyond that. Otherwise the whole of Punjab gets under water, under 2 feet of water. So this is the type of terrain. In September the war had started, but monsoons were over in July, so a lot of water was still present, and the land of the Punjab is very porous. See, because the water depth under the ground is quite high. Many people said that you have so many canals and rivers that unless you give them firm banks, the water percolates into the soil, and so it is rather delicate soil because it's got water right underneath. Now the Pakistanis made their main attack at Khemkaran. They had a fairly shadow movement of an attack along the Wagah border, from the Pakistan side to India side. They had, I think, about a brigade plus a brigade of infantry and a brigade of tanks, which were trying to make a show. And when you make a show, you really attack. Since the holy city of Amritsar is a very major point for defense in India, especially for the Sikhs, you found that after Niranjan Prasad was removed from 15-day, Mohinder Singh, Sikh general, was placed in charge, because Harbaks insisted, I want all Sikhs to be in charge of the divisions. So 15-day was under a Sikh general, 4-day was under a Sikh general, Gurbakh Singh, right? Central was Sibal, 7th division, which was under a Hindu, right? Corps commander was a Sikh, army commander was a Sikh. Because the theory then was that the Sikhs will know how to defend the holy city of the Sikhs. But the concentration was for the defense of Amritsar. So though the intelligence and ground intelligence, the ground intelligence is very important, because the troops which are seeing each other are in contact. They can see what's happening on the other side. And though the reports came in that there seems to be a big concentration of tanks and other things south of Khemkaran at Ravind, Ravind town or whatever it's called, and also there's a big forest there, that there seem to be tanks going inside the forest, because air reconnaissance did pick that up. The Harbaks and his command were more bothered about the holy city of the Sikhs. So a number of things happened here. General Chaudhary's plan was to make a, the Armored Corps generals, by the way, are offensive in nature. They are not defensive. So even I claim that if you are an army commander for the defense of India, your concentration is for defense. That's your job. You don't like any enemy penetrating your sector. You are not thinking of major offense. You have minor offenses, to restore a situation. Major offenses has to be done by those who are capable of major offense, and that is armored corps formations, tank formations like armored divisions and armored brigades and so on, who are trained in Ahmednagar to go into the enemy territory and attack. That unfortunately is not an acceptable thing to do when you are commanding a defended sector. So what happens is that if you bring tanks into the sector, the area is commanded by the infantry general, because that's his sector. Formations from outside come in, like the armored division comes in, or armored brigades come in. They say, first you lay yourself out here to strengthen my defense. That means the concentration of mobile forces is more for enhancing the defensive sector than to attack the enemy. Whereas when the first armored division moved, 71 war, I was the colonel, yes. 65 war is the chief staff, but we know the way armor has to function. So when I went there, I noticed that any armor that came in was sort of, people wanted to lay out to enhance the defense of the defensive sector. That means their concentration. Pat Dunn's force, one corps, was only for offense. So though they went there, and the 26th Div commander and others who were commanding Pathankot, etc., wanted them to lay out in a certain way. But Pat Dunn had become a recent lieutenant general. He had his way. He managed to concentrate the division in Samba the way he wanted. Okay. Now, in the western sector where I was, I travelled to all the hot spots of the war because I had to report to Chief's office. He wanted to know information from my vision. So that, because what happens, any information that takes place in battle goes to the defensive divisions, corps, or whatever they are. They send their information in trips to the corps headquarters. They send their information to the army headquarters.
It is tempered along the...
It takes 2 days to reach MO Directorate, Military Operations Directorate, and army headquarters, who then brief the chief. So since the chief wanted information early, he had me as a liaison officer in the western sector. That you contact directly with my office, you tell me something. I want to know it before the MO Directorate, because that is 2 days late. You'll notice that even in the North African campaign in 1941, 42, up to 43, 44, against Rommel at the desert, whether it was Lord Wavell commanding that, desert battle, Wavell 30,000, where my father also participated as a medical man, commanding a field ambulance, or later it was Field Marshal, then General Montgomery, who went there. They had their LOs right in front, plus they had people behind the enemy lines to tell them what's happening. To
give the information,
corps commander and the army commander, so that he has information early. Because the corps commanders and army commanders are not going to wait for 2 days for information, they want it now, so that they can pre-plan their action. So that was General Chaudhary's idea, to send these LOs forward, sent to everybody, sent me there. And I had to then visit every battlefield. Now let's start from the north. First we have Khemkaran. Not Khemkaran, you had Dera Baba Nanak. Dera Baba Nanak, where Guru Nanak, it was his Dera. That's where he lived. Though he was born across the border at another side, which you can now visit if you're a Sikh. But Dera Baba Nanak is this side of the Ravi River, northwest of Amritsar. It's a village, my family comes from there actually. And if you go further north, you come to Batala and you come to Dhariwal. These are right on the Ravi River. Now Dera Baba Nanak, about 3 or 4 kilometers, if you go to the border, there is a huge bridge across the Ravi. That is a rail bridge and a road bridge, double-decker bridge, made of steel girders. See, it's a huge steel girder bridge, which used to be the style in those days. And these steel girder bridge had a railway line plus a road. So the railway line was on top and the road. Then once you cross the Ravi from Pakistan side to our side, there is a bunds, because the Ravi overflows, floods. In this flooded area, you have to have bunds. The bunds are land, mud piled up to a height of about 14-15 feet, along with the road and rail runs, so that they are above the water level in case it floods. So you have a flood bund which is along the Ravi, then you have a railway bund along which the railway line goes, then you have a road bund along which the road goes to enter in, right? The area in between these bunds are full of tall sarkanda grass. Sarkanda grass, let me explain to you. It's in bundles, you know. Each growth of sarkanda is about 8 or 10 feet wide, and it goes up to 20 feet, 12 feet, 20 feet tall.
Clusters,
And the difference between one growth of sarkanda and the next is 4 or 5 feet. So the whole area below the bunds is covered with this tall sarkanda grass. You can't see a damn thing there, right?
Restricts the visibility.
Completely restricts. Not only that, your compasses don't work. So if I'm an infantry battalion commander or company commander and I have to go from A to B through the section, then rest assured my compass is not going to work. And the moment you advance there, everybody gets divided because you can't see each other. You see, it's not plain. So there what had happened is that I went there because there was a failure in the way that orders were from the higher authorities that Pakistan has an enclave. Pakistan enclave is on our side of the river.
Yes.
You know, when the border between India and Pakistan was known as the Red Cliff line,
Yes.
was drawn for partition, it is a line drawn for conflict. It goes through villages
Yes.
and it goes through fields. That means if you are the owner of a field, your field is here and there, but the Red Cliff line comes there, so you are divided. Sometimes in your villages, half your house is divided to Pakistan and the other half here.
Yes.
And now the British, before they parted, this is a good kick they gave us because this was a line of conflict which is going to be a conflict forever. See? So, this border line, to reach it, farmers near that, you have to sometimes cross the river and then reach the piece of land that is yours and the Pakistan on the other side. Other places the river is on that side. And the rivers in Punjab change their
Course.
course because it's very flat land.
Yes.
When the river debouches from the Himalaya, it has to travel 2,000 kilometers
Yes.
to the Arabian Sea,
Yes.
right?
Quite
but
right.
it debouches at a height which means that for every kilometer the water has to go down a couple of inches.
Yes.
So the water meanders like this, and depending on any piece of mud in front of it, it goes this way or goes that way. So there are large river banks, but the channel of water keeps moving around this way, that way. And when the monsoon comes, the whole thing floods. See, this is Punjab.
Meandering water.
Meandering, see. So with the result, the Red Cliff line put it along the Ravi river up to Lahore. But the Ravi river itself is sometimes that side and sometimes this side. So many times the dividing line has the water channel on the Pakistani side and sometimes the water channel is on the Indian side. So in this area, Dera Baba Nanak, they've got an enclave with this, with various bunds as I described. There is a brigade of ours located there, and they were ordered that you capture the enclave on our side, so that the Pakistanis are not given the chance to cross the bridge with armor and tanks and artillery. Infantry can cross through the river also because the river is not very deep, but it has to have logistics, it has to have tank support, it has to have artillery support. If you want to bring the guns and tanks and supply trains forward, you need the bridge. So India captures the enclave that is restricted to Pakistan. So we had a Gurkha battalion which did that and captured the site. Then maybe a company was left behind to defend that. And an engineer platoon was put next to the bridge to put charges. See? Now, there was a huge flap among some of the troops because the water level was low, and somebody said, you know, the enemy infantry can just walk through the water. It was about 2 feet deep, right? 3 feet deep, because it was September, and the water level was low. Sometimes if there's rain, it floods, but otherwise,
one could wait.
So the engineers who were laying the charges on the span of the bridge got into a little fear, especially at night. There was some rustling sounds and all that taking place, and somebody said, Dushman aa. So the engineers suddenly, this platoon, one of their sections just uptaken ran. Enemy.
Just panicked.
So they panicked. The other engineer, the other 2 sections of the engineer platoon, or 3 sections, they all ran. Now where would they run? They ran to the main defense of Dera Baba Nanak, which was the whole brigade defense, see, with FDLs and everything laid out, and they had no artillery except they had 4.2-inch mortars. And they had practiced DFSO stars and all that for the 4.2-inch mortars. Now the brigade commander there, the front battalion, they had got 2 companies, I think, of Gurkhas. One company ran when they saw all these people running. They said, oh, the Pakistanis have come.
So the engineers triggered, even the Gurkhas sort of panicked.
One company of the Gurkhas ran. Other company which was on the other side of the road bund, they didn't hear this, so they kept in their positions. So these Bachas bhagavad. And the FTIs of the thing were having a party or something. Some Subhada major was retiring, so they were having a party or something. Suddenly these chaps came running, Pakistani aa gaya, Pakistani aa gaya. So the brigade commander thought that the Pakistanis have come here. So he opened 4.2-inch mortar fire, DFSOS at the aerials.
Yes.
So the casualties that we had were by our own artillery.
Own fire, yes, sir.
And their own people were running, they thought the Pakistanis, so many of them were shot. See? So there was a bit of a hangama here. The result was that the corps headquarters, we came to know that Dera Baba Nanak defences have collapsed. But then suddenly people realized that it's our own trap, so they cooled it. The brigade commander was sacked.
And this brigade was ex-15 Div, sir.
15 Div.
Yes, sir.
The brigade commander was sacked. It was, I think, 96 Brigade or something, I'm not sure. He was sacked.
Sir.
And another brigade commander was put there who was a tougher mentality, let us say.
Yes.
The particular battalion which had run was removed from the scene.
Sir.
That commanding officer was sacked.
Sir.
Right? I know the name of the battalion, I know the name of the commanding officer, but I'm not going to share that.
Yes,
with you.
that's
So
fine.
he was
Yes,
sacked. And another battalion of the same group was sent there to restore their reputation
of Gorkhas.
of the regiment.
Yes.
You have infantry regiment.
Sir.
One of the battalions says, Bhagavad, you put another battalion of the same regiment,
Yes.
that please do better next time and restore
Yes.
your reputation.
sir.
Right? So they came in there. So I was also standing there because I heard this happen, so I got my jeep and I landed up there. So the new brigade commander was now planning, he was told by the corps commander that your job is to recapture that own side of the enclave, which the Pakistanis had not. When Pakistanis saw that you guys had vanished from there, they walked in,
quickly came
and they poked and they scuppered the one company of Gurkhas that was there. They killed them all.
Yes.
So then this new battalion that had come was told to do the attack. So there were two companies up, as taught in infantry school, Mao.
Sir.
Now here is the lesson. What you are taught in your school is not necessarily how you function in actual battle.
Sir.
In actual battle, you have to see the condition of the ground, what is feasible, what is not feasible, and many times you cannot carry out the principles that are laid down in schools of instruction.
Yes.
You have to use your brain
Yes.
to do something unique, to confuse and destroy the enemy. Aim is to confuse and destroy the enemy, not to get killed yourself.
So the ingenuity and flexibility, these
if you are a good commander, if you've got the qualities of a good commander, many people don't, there are very few who got this, who go outside their training to do something. After all, the enemy is also trained in staff colleges and in schools of instruction, just like you are. What your knowledge is of the way to conduct a battle and the way you defend or the way you attack is the same that the other chap is.
Yes.
So what is the difference? The difference is the brilliance of the mind of an individual commander who thinks of things beyond the books and then does that.
Ingenuity, deception, etc.
Yes, the answer is to surprise the enemy and to cut him down.
Yes.
See, so this new brigadier came, he ordered the attack. Now this battalion had two companies forward. So they had two companies forward, one company in depth for the attack and one company in reserve. As per teaching. So they were lined up on the edge of the road bund. The road bund comes, they were lined up there, and the artillery was laid down, artillery fire plan was laid down for the bridge, and they were asked to attack. So I was there with my jeep. I was wondering because I had a look at the terrain and I said, how are these chaps? They were all lined up. I said, once they get into the lower ground where the sarkanda grass is, they'll get lost. And that's exactly what happened.
And command and control will be lost, yes sir.
So the command and control disappears in sarkanda. So they went on attack. Now we waited because the attack was supposed to last 20 minutes to reach the objective, and then we expected a success signal or something. No success signal. So the fire plan, which is from H minus so much to H so much, were fired. Then brigade commander asked the fire, it concentrated a battery of guns there. Fired the second fire plan, no result. Then they fired the third fire plan, no result. Then, whereas the objective should have been captured by say 2 in the morning,
Sir.
eventually at about 6 in the morning, just before dawn, we got the success signal.
Ultimately, after
Yeah.
3 fire plans.
After 3 fire plans.
Sir.
So I got into my jeep and I drove along the road one straight
Yes.
to the objective. And there was this young second lieutenant. I said, now tell me, how did you do this attack?
Yes.
He said, sir, I'm sorry. Who are you? I was wearing my major's rank,
Yes.
but I was wearing an infantry hat, not my blackberry.
Yes.
But those are the orders.
Yes.
And I had no insignia to say
A formation
which
sign.
formation I belonged to. I had an army headquarters formation sign, but that I put in my pocket. He said, who are you? I said, I'm Major Sharma. He said, sir, I'm not going to tell you anything. You go and report to my seniors and get me sacked. I said, I am a liaison officer from army headquarters. I have nothing to do with your superiors or inferiors. I am just interested to see how the hell did you reach the objective through the Sarkanda?
Yes.
He said, sir, you promise you won't tell anyone. All right. I promise. He said, the moment I lined up my company, he was doing the company command, he was second lieutenant.
Yes.
I lined up my company. We crossed the start line as per day, the whistles blew and we crossed the start line. I lost all sight and control of my company within 1 minute because they went into the Sarkanda and they were lost.
Yes.
So I said, this is no good. I'll be caught and sacked because my company disappeared in the Sarkanda. So he said, I shouted to my Subedar Sahib, shout and tell them to come back, Roko, Roko, come back. So about, there are hardly in a company in war about 70 men.
Yes.
So out of those 70, about 40 or 50
Came back.
the rest were disappeared in the Sarkanda. He said, you all come back. So he counted out everybody, counted the platoons, etc., got their commander. He said, now look, don't tell anyone, there's no point in going through this Sarkanda. We'll get lost and we'll all get sacked. Get onto the road. So, like a route march, one platoon up front of the road, left side, one platoon on the right of the road, a little back, another platoon.
They marched along the...
March along the road like that.
Sir.
He says, I and my Subedar were right in front. We were working with the Sten guns and all that ready. So we walked right up to the mouth of the bridge. And there we saw 2 chaps standing in the darkness of the dark. And they were smoking. So one of them said, with a huge Punjabi gali, कौन है यार वो हिंदुस्तानी का अटैक आ रहा है कहाँ तुम घूम रहे हो यार in other words who the hell are you bastards moving around when the Indian attack is coming through. So he said we shot them both straight away. One was the Subedar major of the battalion and the other was the CO of the Pakistani battalion. Both died on the spot.
Yes.
Then he realized that the river was ahead and they were on the bund which leads up to the bridge. There's a flood bund on the right and the flood bund which would be the defensive position. So he said, charge, so one platoon went down this side and one platoon went that side. And
they
all
the
bunkers of the Pakistanis were facing India along the bund to give them a little height. And they came from the side, lobbing grenades into the machine gun trenches.
Yes.
Killed them all. And they were the dead bodies of the Gurkhas who had been conquered. All their private parts had been cut and all mangled bodies, That's the torture they do to dead bodies. So that is a very nasty sight. Nonetheless, he gave the success signal. Many years later, after my retirement, I was playing golf with an officer, Major General retired from the same battalion.
Okay.
It's from the same regiment. I said, tell me, what happened to so-and-so, so-and-so? He said, don't worry about him. I said, he did a remarkable job. He should have got at least a Mahavir Chakra. What he did. They said, no, they gave him a mention in dispatches. Because he said he did the normal attack.
Yes.
I said, well, I know the real story, but what happened to him? He's become a Major General. So that's all right, let it go. But I'm just showing you how what happens in battle is totally different to what you are taught in your schools of instruction. And schools of instruction will not change their views.
Yes.
See?
They would not.
So anyway, this is how we recovered that side. And then all the Jawans of the battalion were saying, next time we catch Pakistani prisoners, we'll do the same to them.
Yes.
Many officers, including me, told them, look, this is not the way. We are superior military.
No
We are superior. We are not uncouth heathens, uncouth nasty fellows who mutilate bodies which are dead. We respect the dead. Any Pakistani dead body, please give him the proper burial, or first hand him over to the other side if they don't receive. Many times they don't refuse to receive. Then you do the final Muslim rites with our Muslim mullahs, bury his things, take all his documents, whatever is on his person, the identification card, and find out who his family is, and send him with your condolences to his family. That's India. And we are the only army in the world who does that.
Quite right.
Everybody hates the Ukraine war, they hate the Russians. The Russians don't hate them so much as the Ukrainians and Western Europe people hate the Russians. Why do they hate them? It's a good question. That's a separate discussion. But they hate the Russians. The Poles, the Romanians, NATO, and they're always poking at the Russians. All right. So that's the war. That's what Mr. Biden was doing when he left as president, and it's Hunter Biden. Now Trump has said he'll stop the war, we will see whether he stops the war or not. But Putin is ready to talk to Trump, we see where it goes. Palestine war, the Israelis hate the Palestinians. The Palestinians hate the Israelis. This war continues, been going on for the last, ever since Israel came there. They came after World War II, 1945. Since 45 till today, there are wars and wars and wars.
Quite right.
So there's an old saying from the Bible, he who lives by the sword shall die by the sword. That's what's happening there.
Yes, quite right.
In our country, there is peace. Why is there peace? Well, if we are not getting into other people's countries. Secondly, our troops are taught not to hate the Chinese, not to hate the Pakistanis, not to hate anyone. He is a soldier fighting for his country, according to his duty. You are a soldier fighting for your country, according to your duty. The conflict is started by politicians sitting in cozy, air-conditioned offices.
Quite right.
The youth are the ones who are going and fighting for the love of nation and the love of their duty, getting killed.
Concept of dharma is there,
So, it's not the fault of the man opposite you, it's the fault of his politician, whatever is going on. See?
Quite right.
So therefore, when you capture somebody, treat him kindly and with respect, according to Geneva Convention, name, rank and numbers, all you are. What we did with East Pakistan in the 1971 war. I mean, 93,000 prisoners, they were looked after like your own brothers. All of them went back to Pakistan as Indian ambassadors. Yes. I went to Pakistan after the war because I have friends over there from RIMC, this is my old school. They invited me. And I went to one chap who had been injured in the Bangladesh war. I said, when I read your papers, it's so much nonsense written in your papers. That's the Dawn from Karachi and the news from published simultaneously from Karachi, Islamabad and Lahore, the news. It's a very big paper. They interviewed me also. I said, they are writing so much hate against India that you are raping all the Muslim women, you are not letting Muslims pray to their gods according to Muslim traditions, you are breaking down their masjids, you are doing ABC, XYZ. And that propaganda is going all over the world. See? Even my daughter in America tells me there's so much propaganda against India, but there is nothing from India. I say, India has nothing to say.
Quite right.
We are only being beaten about by others. But anyway, truth will eventually come out.
It would.
Truth will come out like that Bengali major. He found the truth. And he supported India instead of his own country. All right. So I said, this is the point. It's the nasty politics, and children in Pakistan from kindergarten are trained that the greatest monster in God's world who must be destroyed is the Indian. Their propaganda is that, before when the British were there, the whole of India was part of Pakistan. And then these crazy Hindus with their deviating minds have captured the whole of India and left us this little piece here. So that sort of propaganda is taught from your children. Only when they come to India and see the friendship and the openness here, they realize that what lies they are being told there. So truth will come out eventually. All right. Now, this question of terrorism is going on there. Coming back to the 65 war, this is Dera Baba Nanak, where I was actually present during the conference. Now we'll go to the Wagah sector. In the Wagah sector, what happened was that there was a thrust by Pakistanis toward this. So Harbaks and others moved troops to Amritsar for the protection thereof. something else which has not come out in history happened. General Chaudhary's plan was that he cannot uncover the defense of Punjab.
Yes.
So the armored division had only old American, not armored division, but the armored brigade, second
Yes.
independent armored brigade, which is in Punjab, had only those Sherman tanks.
Yes. Sherman tanks.
Yes. Some of the Sherman tanks had been upgunned with the French 76 millimeter gun.
Yes.
Instead of the little piddlies.
Yes.
The American guns are not very good. They had a 76 millimeter, but the French produced a 75 millimeter on a small tank called the AMX 13.
Yes.
It was only 13
Yes.
tons, but a huge gun.
Yes.
Many of those guns were moved and put into some of the Shermans to give them a better firepower. And the armored division had 4 Centurion regiments. Now the Centurion tank, which is made by the British, has a very good gun, right? It had a 20-pounder
Yes.
gun, and we had bought these in the 1950s. So it's an old tank.
Yes.
It was produced towards the end of World War I.
Yes.
So it's an old tank. The American pattern is far newer.
Yes.
The pattern pattern Mark 7, pattern Mark 8. Mark 8 had a 3-man crew. Mark 7 had a 4-man crew, and they were with a 90 millimeter American gun.
Yes.
And this was given to Pakistan. But what we found is that the Pakistan Armored Division had a mix of M47 and M48.
Yes.
So the difference of the M47 and M48 is A, that one crewman is less, and the M48 has got better sighting systems and so on.
Okay.
So it's a very low tank,
Yes.
but the turret is very big.
Yes.
Americans are 6 feet tall, so the
Yes.
turret has to be
Yes.
enough big to accommodate a
Yes.
6-foot man. About tank design, let me say a few words. We in India have been buying right from the early days, T-54,
Yes.
then T-72, Russian tank, then T-90, now T-95.
Yes.
What is the difference? I spoke to an American general when I was chief. I visited the tank factories and all that.
Yes.
He said we first designed the tank like a racing car.
Okay.
Well, very smooth, low design.
Yes.
Its height should not be more than 5 feet 6 inches.
Yes.
Okay? And the glacis plate that's in front is like this.
Yes.
The slope is more than 45 degrees.
Yes.
I mean, it's about
Yes.
60 degrees slope, 60 to vertical,
Yes.
only 30 degrees from the
Yes.
from the level, so that when a shot hits it, it ricochets. See? Good
Yes.
chance. Plus, it's covered by explosive charges.
Yes.
Right? You can't see this tank from say 2,000 meters.
Low salute.
It's only 5 feet
Yes.
tall, 5 feet 8 inches.
Yes.
So you can't see this because of low silhouette till the move the gun.
Yes.
When the gun moves, the huge gun,
Yes.
you can see that movement. But it's a little piddly stick, little thing, like a rock
Yes.
at 2,000 meters. See? American tanks are 8.5 feet tall, right? Standing with straight, open sides. So is the Centurion. As the Russians say, they build a British design,
Yes.
is built like a warship. Straight,
They
hull comes
present
up
a
like
bigger
that.
target.
With
Yes.
thick armor, no
Yes.
doubt, but it's a beautiful target.
Yes.
With a flat trajectory weapon, when it's fired from a tank,
Yes.
it doesn't go like artillery, it comes straight like this,
Yes.
with a high charge
Yes.
thing. So an upstanding tank, if it's standing like this, is a very good target. See? But if it's like this,
Yes.
it's not such a good
Yes.
target compared to Russia. So when I was chief, I visited America, and the American chief and I were very good friends. I attended one of his exercises in the Colorado desert, where they were using the Abrams tank.
Yes.
So he said, General, you like the firing? I said, yes, very good firing. It got all the electronics and all that sort of thing, range finders. And the electronic system is that before you fire the gun, you put your target, you get the hot spot, you put it on the target. It accounts for the wind, it accounts for various factors, the heat of the barrel and all that sort of thing. Yes. Gives you a hot spot. When you fire that, you should get the first round hit.
Yes.
Well, in India, since we have the old tanks, most of them slightly worn out in their
Yes.
cogwheels and so on. The training of gunners is that if you miss the first round, at
Yes.
least you should see where it's gone and correct sight.
Give a correction.
Second round
Yes.
has to be on the target.
Yes.
And it's done very fast indeed. Now the Centurion tank has got a high velocity gun. Centurion gun can you know, you fire a round,
Yes.
you can't see where it's landed. See?
Yes.
Because the tank rocks, there's a cloud of dust that comes up when you fire the thing. So, you don't see where it's hit.
The effect is not known.
No? Because I haven't,
Yes.
you've got a 10 magnification sight, 10 times more than normal vision. See? It's such a big sight. So, what we do, according to our training, we do high explosive round first. So, on the scale, you know, sighting, there's armored piercing round sighting is on one side and the high explosive.
So, HE is fired first.
HE is already loaded in the gun.
Yes.
When you contact, you straight put your sights on the
Yes.
enemy and you fire the HE because it bursts and you can see where it is.
Yes.
Then you correct the line. The only thing to correct is the line, not up and down, just line. Then you point your APDS, that's armored piercing discarding saber round, onto the sight and you fire a round. You go up one on the hand wheel and fire another round and fire another. 3 rounds have to be fired one after the other.
Yes.
See?
Quick succession.
Quick, 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Because you've now got the line correct. Once you've got the, you know, this is the target, you mustn't miss the target. The line has to be correct.
Yes.
Once you got the line correct, you fire in because it's an upstanding target. You see 3 holes.
Yes.
Yeah. And Punjab, because of the Sarkanda and because of the wheat, 8 feet
Yes.
tall wheat, you never get a range of more than 600 meters. It's point blank
Yes.
because the range of a Centurion tank zeroing is for 2000 meters.
Effectively,
That
it's
means that
used only
2000
for
meters, if there is
600.
a
Yes.
target this big,
Yes.
every round will go through that.
Yes.
So, 600 meters
Yes.
is point blank. It's like pointing a pistol at somebody's head and firing. See?
Yes.
So, you fire the first round and I'll explain how this is relevant. So, Armored Division had 4 Centurion regiments.
Yes.
General Chaudhary's plan was a strategic plan. See? The tactical plan has to be done by the army commander. Strategic plan is where do you position your troops and where you position your reserves
Yes.
as a higher commander, right? In India, the chief is the higher commander. Army commander is supposed to do that too, but when the army commander gets into trouble, the chief has to give his reserves.
Yes.
So, army commander has reserves, plus the chief has his reserves.
Yes.
So, as far as armor is concerned, the only reserves he had is armored brigade.
Yes.
And he had a couple of infantry divisions as a reserve, General Chaudhary. He moved them from East India, the Chinese
Yes.
border, because the Chinese threat was not there, to the west. See? And they moved from Ranchi and all that.
Yes.
Now, when you look at the Battle of Punjab, since they attacked at Khem Karan, what was the aim of the Pakistanis? The aim of the Pakistanis was go to the Beas Bridge. That Beas Bridge is
Yes.
so many kilometers behind Amritsar, east of
Yes.
Amritsar. Beas Bridge would be, I think, about 45, 50 kilometers behind Amritsar. The Pakistan, when they attack Khem Karan, the moment you capture Khem Karan, there are 3 routes. One route goes to the Harike headworks,
Yes.
where the Sutlej river has got big dams and things.
Yes.
Because the Sutlej also joins the Indus, you see.
Yes.
So, Sutlej is dammed for certain canals to go to southern Punjab and northern Rajasthan, and that's the Harike headworks. So, one road goes there. The second road goes straight to the Beas Bridge area.
Yes.
It goes through Taran Taran, this is the center of Punjab. The third road goes to Amritsar. See? So, the aim of the Pakistanis is not to go to Amritsar, but to go to Beas.
Yes.
Because firstly, the Beas will be only headquarters and all that. You are well behind the front line. All the troops are in the front line. You go for the Beas at the back, where the corps headquarters, DIB headquarters, everybody comes
Yes.
on your way, you bash them up. And then the whole of 11 corps can be rolled up, because then your Pakistanis are in
Yes.
front of them and behind them. See? This is the plan. Very bold plan. I must give it to them for making bold plans. One thing is to make a bold plan, the other is to execute it correctly.
Yes.
In the execution, they failed. One of our RIMC was the head of the military operations, as a major general in those days.
Yes.
He later became the army chief of Pakistan. His name is Gul Hassan.
Gul Hassan, yes.
Yes,
sir.
Gul Hassan knows my brother, everybody, because they're in RIMC, and my brother was a little junior to him.
Okay.
So he was on the president's bodyguard
Yes.
before partition. After partition, since he's a Muslim, he went as ADC to Jinnah. See?
Okay.
He was ADC to Mountbatten. See?
Sir.
So he's a smart officer, and he was head of the military operations, the Director General.
65.
Huh?
In 65, he was DG, their DG and DMO.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he said that the Pakistani attack of the armor division was incorrect because an artillery officer was commanding it. He didn't use armor tactics.
Yes.
He went from that big forest near Raiwind. He had to cross the Echugal Canal Bridge, and then he had to cross the Hodiara Drain Bridge. See, 2 bridges. Now, instead of making bridges north and south, because when you're moving an armor division with so many tanks,
Yes.
I mean, an armor division will have about 200 tanks or so.
Yes.
So, to get them across, you can't confine to one bridge. You should have made extra
Yes.
bridges north and south, so you must cross over 4 or 5 bridges, including both those drains. Hodiara drain plus
Yes.
that. Now, they got delayed there. So, after bashing up the 2 battalions Bhagot from there, as I have explained to you, of 4 days, then the Pakistanis got stuck trying to get their tanks across these bridges.
Okay.
So, normally they should have crossed these bridges in the middle of the night. But because there was only one bridge, it was one tank at a time crossing.
It took,
And some of
they
the
were
area was
delayed.
mined also.
Yes.
Hodiara drain was mined, and you have to make a bridge.
Yes.
And the Hodiara drain bridge had been blown by us before they ran.
Yes.
So, to construct a bridge there and then get across on a single bridge, a whole armor division crossing, they were daylighted to about 11 o'clock during the day.
They were stranded.
Not stranded. They were daylighted. That
Yes.
means instead of crossing at night,
Yes.
with surprise, they were daylighted. They captured Khemkaran,
Yes.
but then our aircraft and all that was at them.
Yes.
And we knew exactly where they were going. So when they came out, they had 3 thrusts. One thrust went up toward the Harike headworks, where the div headquarters of 4 div was there.
Yes.
And the one major thrust went towards Tarandhar. Nothing went to Amritsar. They had no desire to go to Amritsar.
Yes.
Now, in the defense of, you'll notice I am talking at a higher level, because
Sir.
I was representing the army chief. I had the whole picture
Yes.
of the army.
Quite right.
And
sir.
thing is, what is going on here? Harbakh Singh was commanding Western Command, but his command was a very, very large command. His command was from Kashmir in the north, Jammu
Yes.
and Kashmir, the whole of Punjab and the whole of northern Rajasthan.
Yes.
Today, we have got 3 separate commands there.
Yes.
We've got Northern Command, we've got Western
Western
Command, and
and
we've got
Southwestern.
Southwestern Command.
Southwestern.
See, we've got 3 commands where Harbakh
Yes.
as a single man was commanding.
Yes.
You must give him that credit.
Yes.
And there were no helicopters available to run,
Yes.
go quickly from A to B. Army commander is required to travel to the front line to see the situation for himself and see where his corps commanders and div commanders are not doing their job as well as expected, and then put his reserves there so that he can help them. Or
Yes.
come and stand to them and push them.
Yes.
Come on, get on with it. You understand?
Quite
so he
right.
poor chap was in a jeep, really from Kashmir to Khemkaran to back, all over the place. So half his time was travelling. Same with the corps commander in Raya, and I was with him. I had a chief's jeep with me. If I wanted to visit Khemkaran sector, it took me 2 hours of driving at 80 kilometers an hour.
Yes.
You see?
And plus, he had that preconceived notion of defending Amritsar. That was also.
That was
yes.
there. So it takes time from Amritsar to Khemkaran, 2 hours running on the
Yes.
road. So then everybody is like that. So much was left to the commanders on the spot. Now Sybil, for instance, he was in between 15 Div on the Amritsar highway, Amritsar Lahore highway, Khemkaran, I told you about the
Yes.
brigade. Then in the center was a crossroads. That crossroads is, the road is from Khemkaran to Amritsar, and this road running on our side of the border
Yes.
also goes in the center towards Lahore. In between,
Yes, sir.
there is Burki, Pakistan side.
Sir.
So Sybil and his 7th division were in the center.
Yes.
15 Div in the north and 4 Div
Yes.
in the south. So we had 3 divisions. All these divisions were at low strength. One brigade from each division had been taken away to build up the northern defences against China. Because 62 war had taken place 3 years
Yes.
earlier. So to put up 10 divisions for protection of northern border, you had taken
Denuded them by 1 division each.
No,
One
you
brigade
reduced
each.
1 brigade each.
1 brigade.
That means
each.
1/3 the infantry
Yes.
strength had gone.
Yes.
1/3 the artillery strength had gone.
Yes.
You see? As far as tanks were concerned, the Pakistan, because they got so many tanks from America, were superior to us in tank strength. And because these infantry division had been depleted, the Pakistan infantry was 1.5 times our size.
Yes.
Then as far as the guns are concerned, the latest American 105 millimeter guns and all that were given to Pakistan. We had the old 25 pounder
Yes.
and the Soviet 130,
Yes.
which is really an anti-tank gun, but it fires a very flat trajectory. It has a good range.
Yes.
And it got a medium gun, I mean it's 155 millimeters, but 152 millimeters. But it is a...
Perhaps 130 came after the 65 wars, I think.
No, we
Sir,
had 130.
we had that 130.
We had
sir.
130 and 160.
Sir.
There's a World War II
Yes.
gun from the
Vintage.
Soviets.
Yes, sir.
Our own artillery we couldn't make.
Yes.
When we got the Bofors, we got it from Sweden,
Yes.
isn't it? Now to go a little aside, why did India only import weapons? India became independent in 1947 under Jawaharlal Nehru.
Yes.
China became independent in 1949 under Mao Zedong.
Yes.
Within 10 years, Mao Zedong had fed and clothed every Chinese, whose population was more than India. Fed means one meal of rice and very light dal sort of thing. To each individual in China was available as one meal.
Yes.
So at least he had that meal instead of starving.
So there was no starvation at least.
No,
They
one
were
meal is
fed.
there.
Yes, sir.
If you're used to 3 meals, you're starved, but
Yes.
nonetheless, one meal to mila. In our case, they are poverty areas still,
Yes.
where they don't necessarily
Yes.
have one meal, one
Yes.
square meal a day. So he got every Chinese one square within 10 years.
Yes.
And he got every Chinese under some sort of shelter, even if it was a shack.
Sir.
In our case, there are many people still not
Without shelter.
without too much shelter. All right. We have reduced the poverty to by 25%, which is a remarkable deed by the
Sir.
present government. Previously, they said, now even Indira Gandhi used to say roti, kapda, makan when
Yes.
she was going for India, but the roti, kapda, makan went into people's pockets. See? By this one Aadhaar card,
Yes.
Modi has made sure that the money goes to the individual.
Yes.
He's got them into banking.
Yes.
So he gets an identity.
Yes.
You know, you can't own a piece of land unless you have an identity.
Yes.
You can't have an identity unless the bank knows who you are.
Yes.
See?
Quite right.
So Aadhaar card is giving you
Yes.
identity. So you, if you've got a shack here, you can, when you collect some money, you can buy the piece of
Yes.
land under the shack, then it's yours. Otherwise, it's not yours. It belongs to the
Right.
person whose land it is.
Yes.
All right. So whatever it is, the development is taking place, but it is very late. Why were we only buying equipment from abroad? Firstly, we didn't have the technology to make any equipment ourselves.
Yes.
Secondly, R&D and other fund was not used for developing the
Armament.
corporate sector and other people in India to create those armaments.
Yes.
It was Soviet system of government-owned factories
Yes.
where a lot of nonsense takes place because they are on government pay.
Inefficiency, yes.
Yeah, no, right from 1947,
Yes.
you had the government DRDO set up, which produced everything, and it was old style, and a lot of money given here and there, and it was not efficiency which made them promote. They got promoted because of government servants. See, private sector is that if you don't produce things properly, you are sacked.
Yes.
You have to get somebody
Yes.
else. So our private sector was devoid of all this. Now it's opened up. See,
Quite
now
right.
we are trying to open up. It's going
Yes.
to take us another 10 years to produce our own stuff. So we're getting everything abroad. So when you are getting things from abroad, then you are controlled by those who sell the
Supply
equipment
them.
to you.
Yes, sir.
For example, in the I think I get mixed up between 65 and 71 because I was there for both. But I think it was 65 war. You have locating batteries of the artillery. Locating
Yes.
batteries is that you have sound equipment.
Sound ranging, sir.
So you hear the enemy mortars or guns firing, then you take from your
Triangulation.
sound this thing, your sound reception
Yes.
takes the sound from there and they triangulate.
Yes.
If this microphone system here
Yes.
takes a bearing and this microphone system here takes a bearing, you get the position of the guns.
Yes.
That takes, according to a computer, few seconds.
Yes.
So then you order your artillery to
Counter
battery.
Counter. Yes, sir.
So in the 65 war, we had our sound ranging system, batteries had gone out of use.
Yes.
It's a British equipment. So the government asked Britain to supply more batteries for the sound ranging equipment. Now this is the World War II vintage. Now we are in 65.
Yes.
So Britain said that we stop the
manufacture.
So for your sake, we have to restart the manufacture. So each set of batteries, a round battery about that big, right, is going to cost you 25,000 rupees.
Yes.
So we had an artillery officer, one number division ka
the RT
commander RT brigade.
Yes.
He was from Ludhiana.
Yes.
Ludhiana does a little bit of manufacturing. All Batala and Ludhiana do a little private manufacturing. They can overhaul your engine also. See?
Yes.
So he went to Ludhiana. He took this battery with him and he told one shop, look, can you make something like this? The chap looked at it, he said, no, I'm not. You go down 3 shops down the line and
that fellow
he makes batteries.
Yes.
So we went there and there was a Sardarji sitting there in a small little shop. He sold them battery. So that chap said, the brigadier sahab, this is going to cost you money. I'll make it. He said, that's all right. How much time will you take? He says, well, you know, I'll have to work day and night with my workers and all that. And how many do you want? He said, I want about 30, 40 of these. He said, well, it'll take me a week. And you'll have to be charged for every extra day. He said, all right, then what will be the final charge? He says, I have to, you know, normally I would have given it to you for $100, but I'll give you for 200 rupees. 25,200. So he said, give the order.
Yes.
From training ground fund, they paid the money to a joker, he produced the battery, then we had sound ranging. This is a lack of Indian production because you're not testing the market.
Yes.
Can't be done by government everything. All right. Why were we buying abroad? So much corruption in the government that any equipment you wanted to buy, you only wanted to buy abroad.
Yes.
Supposing you made a deal with Czechoslovakia or with America or with Britain or Germany or somebody to whether it's a ship or whether it's a plane or whether it's a battery or whether it's a gun.
Yes.
Supposing the fellow's bill is all right, for each item it will cost you 40,000 rupees. That's it.
Yes.
Then Ministry of Defence, the people who do the argument, they say 40,000, why don't you make it 55,000? The other 15% for us. So he'll buy from abroad.
Yes.
That 10%, 15 to 10% comes in the pocket of the bureaucrats and politicians who are involved. Ministry of Defence.
Yes.
It's all Ministry of Defence and Government of India. It's nothing to do with the military. The army is given 3 choices. You could get this, this, this. Put them in order of march. So you say, all right, this one first choice, this is second, this is third, because you've tested the equipment.
So L1.
Then the government argues and they may give you second best or third best, but they have that. Right. I know many people who come here, Indians from abroad, to sell stuff to the government of India. When I was a Major General in EBO, they told me this is such a bloody corrupt government. You have to pay them so much down on the side before they buy any equipment.
Yes, sir.
So that's it. So our market is as good as any, provided you spend the money.
Yes.
You know, we are trying to make an aircraft engine, we can't make an aircraft engine. I was a Lieutenant Colonel instructor at Staff College when they had already been 10 years making a tank engine.
Yes.
They were copying the Centurion, then they went to Germany, they spent, researchers, technical researchers from the Abadi factory spent 10 years watching the production of Leopard tanks of Germany with the Leopard tank engine.
Sir.
15,000 horsepower. The horse to weight ratio is such that a tank should drive like a speeding motor car.
Yes.
That power is required.
Yes.
So depending on the weight of the tank is 50 tons or something, well, you must still make it run like a jeep with that power.
Yes.
So that engine, the Leopard engine, was 15,000 horsepower.
Sir.
They derated it to 14,000 to sell it to India. So we were buying that Leopard engine for a Vijayanta and other things. But then they said we'll make it in India. So they made the exact same thing, but they didn't produce any power because there are certain alloys and things used there which they won't part with that information. See? They are testing metals for months and years before putting it in the tank. So what you are getting here is a nonsensical thing to produce here because people are corrupt. Wherever you are getting it produced, people taking their cut.
Yes.
So this is the industry in India, and unless you get rid of this and make your corporate sector function, which they are doing now, you'll be left far behind. Now, China is producing even aircraft. If they all borrowed the design from Russia, then improve the design.
Yes.
They made
Right.
made excellent fighter bombers, etc., giving to Pakistan and everybody. So that's it. So these are the lessons we learned in the war. When the Pakistan Armored Division failed is because of our Centurion tanks. What Chaudhary did is to soup up the power of the 2nd Independent Armored Brigade with Sherman tanks,
Yes.
World War II design, early World War II. He took a Centurion regiment from Armored Division and 3rd Cavalry and gave it to 2nd Independent Armored Brigade in southern Punjab.
Okay.
Right? Assal Uttar came there. And he took a Sherman regiment from them and gave it to 1 Armored Division, 62 Cavalry, right? Which got shot up when Pat Dunn made his advance. That's the first lot who got shot up. Okay. So they had a Centurion tank. Salim Caleb was a very good commander. He is a Christian, a Muslim Christian. So his name is Salim Caleb. And he is a Christian. But he took, I have known him since he was a captain and a major, but he became a lieutenant colonel and he commanded 3rd Cavalry. Very meticulous to train his tank crews. So he knew he would be in the defense. Now, two things happened in the defense of southern Punjab by 2nd Independent Armored Brigade and 3rd Cavalry. Every tank was given a position. Every tank commander was made to see his arc of fire and where the targets would arrive. If the enemy tanks came, how would they come? Would they come here, here, here? Mark that on a range, have a written code on top of the turret. So this is tree, so and so, so many thousand meters, this, so many meters, so that you know that if the enemy comes here, this is the range and I first shot through the target. Then they were camouflaged and concealed. See? So he had got prepared, because when I visited 2nd Independent Armored Brigade at a place called Assal Uttar. Assal is the village, and about 5 kilometers further north is Assal Uttar, that means the north of Assal. Just a village with double-storied mud buildings, lot of copse of trees, and the brigade headquarters was located there. If you go a little towards Khemkaran, Mahmudpura, you see whole tank formations of Pakistan M47 tanks deployed all with three holes inside them. Then the road from Assal Uttar towards Khemkaran has got tanks of the Pakistanis all burning. See? Because when the Pakistanis came, there two things hit them. One was that the canal water people approached the army in Western Command, this 11 Corps. How can we help? So they were asked, how can you help? We'll release water from the canals. As it is, the canal, the soil of Punjab is very dicey because it's got a high water table, right? We'll release water to areas which you want to block. Now on the surface there will be no water because it sinks straight away. But that will not take the weight of a tank. So the moment a tank comes, it will sink.
Bowed down
4 or 5 feet. Straight, it just goes down like that. So the Pakistanis didn't know this. They first sent a 3rd Cavalry, 4 Cavalry, commanded by a Parsi officer. They sent him on an outflanking movement to north of the Assal Uttar position because the aircraft had picked up this position. See? So they said there are 2 infantry battalions. So as I said, I am going to explain the crux of this battle so that you understand what happened. When the Pakistanis attacked and they captured Khemkaran, their opinion was that 1 Pakistan is equal to 10 Indians. You make 1 advance, Pakistani, 10 Indians will
run away.
Because they ran in front of the Chinese. Pakistanis are so powerful that 1 Pakistani is equal to 10 Indians. So you just appear and they'll run. Alright. That is underestimating the enemy. Right? You must never underestimate the enemy. You can't feel you are superior. You are only superior if you conquer. If you don't conquer, you have to still waiting to conquer, you can't be superior. That's one. Number 2 is that 1 armored regiment will outflank all the positions of Assal Uttar go to the back and cut off the road between Amritsar and Khemkaran so that no reinforcements can come.
Yes.
And then the armored division will attack and kill everybody on the way. Now at Assal Uttar, this is just north of, about 20 kilometers north of Khemkaran, 2 battalions had been positioned.
Yes.
After 2 battalions ran away.
Yes.
One was 4 grenadiers. Farak Bhatti was commanding.
Sir.
On the western side of the road was 18 Rajre, and there was a second in command commanding 18 Rajre because the CO had gone off on posting and the new CO had not come.
And this 4 grenadiers was Abdul Hamid. With his
Abdul
artillery.
Hamid was in 4 grenadiers.
Yes, sir.
I'll tell you his story also.
Yes, sir.
So what has happened is here 2 battalions laid out, they are dugging very fast and they are putting minefields in front.
Yes.
This is their job to prepare defences. So the armoured brigade commander located in between these 2 at Assal Uttar, right? He had 3 regiments, 2 of Shermans and 1 3rd Cavalry of Centurion to
Sir.
harden them up. Arun Vaidya was the armoured regiment of 4 division.
Okay.
I found him sitting there. I said, Major Vaidya, how is it that you should be with 4 division, you come and join here? I got fed up of them. The CO is a bloody idiot. He doesn't know anything about armour. This is one Gurbakh Singh by name. And another, his Jivan, who is looking after the operations, chap called Sukhwinder Singh. He writes books on military tactics,
Sir.
which are very famous. They go all around.
Sir.
He said, I had no idea. They are only worried about their own self. They dug they've dug very well underneath the underground positions of 4-day headquarters on the road to Harike headworks from Khemkaran. He said they've gone to ground there and they've run a plough on top so that Pakistan photography and aircraft will not pick up anything. He said temperaments, but he had no idea what to do with the armour. So the moment Theograj's brigade came here, I told them, sorry, armoured brigade is here, he is under your command. So I am putting my regiment under him. And he upstruck from there with the regiment and he came to Assal Uttar. See? He was up in front with Centurion tanks. Now, the Pakistanis were coming up from there, so the 1 regiment, 4 cavalry, the Parsi officer in command, were made an outflanking movement. Since he went very close to the Ishugal Canal for the outflanking movement, he led it up north of the position of Theograj's brigade, and he was cutting the road in the north. Now the stories, I mean, seconds counted. What happened was that Harbaks and Yogi Dhillon of 11 Corps, they decided that the main factor is the Amritsar city and Pakistan will go for that before the Khemkaran attack. So because they had made a armoured brigade attack something there, they thought that the Pakistan 1 armoured division is coming for Amritsar. So he ordered Theograj's brigade, 2 independent brigade, where General Chaudhary had placed them. He said there is no need for you to be there, Amritsar is under danger, you send the brigade here. Start with the Centurion regiment because that is the main hitting force. So 3rd Cavalry was ordered to go to the protection of Amritsar. This is the actual story, it's not in your history books. Nobody admits to this, right? Because they went for a JC course later there and I was given a totally different story when we were studying the battle there. And it was, the commander was then Brigadier Smoky Malhotra, who later became Western Army, Northern Army commander. And I was a major and he was a colonel. So he gave the story after people were being explained the story on a sandbar. I said, just a minute sir, that's not the story, I was there. He said, we are not interested in what you have seen with your eyes, it means nothing. We are only interested in the reports that came, which are written, part of history, and we are only explaining that. So please sit down, that's all. They are not ready to hear what actually happened. So what actually happened, which is not in the history books, is that 3rd Cavalry was ordered to go to Amritsar. So he moved out of the sector and he had already gone out of range, but they are on a single communication system. That means all 3 squadrons and the CO are on one net. You see? So he had, that's a medium regiment, system. So he had already moved with his reconnaissance group to Amritsar. That means Reem Caleb and his 2IC and a few other officers were gone by jeep to Amritsar to reconnoiter where the regiment going to be put and so on and so forth. Then he had moved his tanks. So 2 squadrons had moved. The 3rd squadron, commanded by a chap called Belbarkar, was en route. You know, north of Khemkaran and Assal Uttar is a place called Bhikibind, where the roads are crossing. One is going to Burki, one is going to Amritsar, one is going to Taran Taran.
Belvatkar, sir.
Belbalkar.
Yes, sir.
He was commanding the last squadron.
He was our battalion commander in NDA. Belvatkar.
He's an armored corps man.
He was the battalion commander in IMA.
Oh, in IMA.
Yes, sir.
Belbalkar was a major,
Sir.
65.
Yes.
So he heard the communication, we were trying to get to Salim Caleb. Salim Caleb wasn't picking up. A chap called Reginald Christian, who's from RIMC, batchmate of mine, a little senior to me. I'm from 5th course in the Indian Military Academy, he's 4th course. Reginald Christian was the BM of this brigade. See? He was shouting, and I was sitting next to him, he was shouting to Belbalkar, can you get your CO, come back, the armored division attacked here. Armored division attacked at coming to Khemkaran. It's not coming to Amritsar. Please come back. You see? So Belbalkar heard it. He passed that message to Salim and turned his tanks around and was coming as fast as the Centurion doesn't go more than 16 kilometers an hour. It's a 55-ton tank. Huh? 65-ton tank.
Yes.
So he is trundling along the main road from Bhikibind Uttar southwards. When 4 cavalry of Pakistan came through the Ganna and were in sight of the road. So when the CO was in sight of the road, he was still about 500 meters from the road, he sent a message to his div commander that I have cut the road. When tanks are 400 or 500 meters from a road, nothing can pass on the road. At that very moment, in one line, 14 tanks of Belbalkar squadron were trundling down the road. And Belbalkar, I asked him personally how this happened. He said he is very fond of photography. So as he was going, he was taking photographs here and there. He looked to the west and he told his Sardar loader, in the tank turret, the commander is on the turret, the gunner is sitting on the gun, and on the left side is the loader, he's got a hatch. The loader also had his neck out to see where you are going. So he told Sardar, your gunner is moving very heavily here. There must be very high winds in Punjab. Because the gunner was shaking 8 foot tall gunner like that. So this fellow looked, he said, Saab ji, this is not wind, it is tanks coming here. Nothing can move the gunner like this. So they turned on and sure enough the first tank was just breaking through the gunner, 4 cavalry. So Centurion tank ki khubi ye hai, it's got a thing called a neutral turn. Neutral turn means that your tank is standing still, gear is in neutral. If you turn the stick, the whole tank will swing off. This is capability. It's all based on the final drive of the tank. Tremendous design. So he said, halt, turn right, shoot at will. Bye. Now, according to our teaching in Ahmednagar, the first round is already loaded in battle. That's the HE round. Because there's so much dust in Punjab, the barrel of the gun is in front. It's got a stabilizer. That means unhooked. And as the tank moves, it maintains this level. If you turn the tank, the gun will also automatically turn. It's on a stabilizer. So he said, halt, turn right, shoot. So all these chaps just turned around, they were all lined up, 14 tanks on the road. They all turned around like this, 90 degrees. And the Pakistani 4 cavalry is breaking through the gunna, right? In a full formation. 2 troops up.
They were easy targets.
2 troops at the back and the commander 3 tanks in the center. See? They're just breaking through. And the range would be about 500 meters. So we have an HE round. And to prevent the dust going into the barrel, you've got a cap on the barrel made of oil paper or ordinary paper with a little string to tie it in place, or chewing gum to put it in place, just to prevent the dust going into the barrel. Because if the dust goes into the barrel and you fire a round, then the barrel gets scored, which means the accuracy of the gun goes down. See? So you had that. Once the battle starts, you don't bother about scoring. But if the first round must hit, you see. You turn round and the Centurion taking his 80 round fired first, then straight on the
direct hit.
You just switch the gun from HE to two things. They put standard range, 800 meters on the, you don't move range. There's a gun plus there's a electronic control for the gun plus a hand wheel control.
Sir.
Hand wheel control is marked in
Degrees and
not little lines.
yes, sir.
To show you one up, one down, two, whatever.
Markings.
You
Yes,
see?
sir.
So the drill is simple.
Sir.
The drill is fire, one line up, fire, two lines down, fire.
Fire.
You got 3 rounds.
Yes.
At the range that you fired the HE, one above, one below.
Sir.
And when I saw those tanks, it was shocking. You just go over a mound, you see the whole squadron lined up of the patterns
Sir.
with 3 holes in each.
Okay, sir.
HE round bursts. Now the Pakistanis have a simple system that if your tank catches fire, you must not stay inside. You must jump out.
Sir.
Because if you die in the fire, you become a Hindu.
Sir.
So they jump out. And when they jump out, then they're on the ground, machine gun. Okay? Or HE. So 3 rounds. Now when the first round goes, the dhamaka of the HE round hits the tank. Because 400 meters is point blank. It's like putting a pistol on your temple. That round blows up like that. Pakistanis knew that the Indians are going to run, so they have various toolboxes outside the turret, in which the tools of the tanks and the tarpaulin, this, that, are kept. But instead of toolboxes, they had put ammunition, because they said petrol and extra petrol at the back and extra ammunition in the toolboxes. So when HE runs, many of those rounds took off, the Pakistani rounds.
Yes, exploded.
The dhamaka exploded. Sir. And the petrol tank caught fire.
Sir.
The tank caught fire. All these have jumped out, they were machine gun. And then what Theograv did, he had an infantry battalion, it's a Dogra battalion. He said, go and pakro these chaps from the gun, those who had run. Usko jaake gher ke leka ja. So when I visited his headquarters, there was the commanding officer of Pakistan, the
4th Cav,
his squadron commander, 2 squadron commanders, and about 30 men sitting like this, prisoners of war. I crossed them as I went to his headquarters, the Moon Charpai, sitting on top of that.
Must have been one of the biggest catch of the 65 war for one particular unit in this case.
The thing is, somebody asked me that politicians think you chaps are such good fighters. Pakistan ko muh tod jawab de di. We said no. We made hundreds of mistakes. They made double the number of mistakes. This is the difference between success and failure. Everybody makes mistakes.
Sir.
You don't follow the drills, you do all sorts of funny things.
Right.
Or you follow the drills, but you're not supposed to follow the drills.
Sir.
That's your mistake. But they made much more risk.
Sir.
Overconfidence.
Sir.
And Allahu Akbar. They were shouting Allahu Akbar on the radio.
Sir.
Allahu Akbar is not going to help you unless you fight the enemy.
Quite right.
See? And this happened. And then he had sent a message to Army Commander of Pakistan that outlined. He attacked along the main road. Now, as I told you, 4 Rajrif on the east of the road, 4 Grenadiers, and 18 Rajrif on the west of the road, and we had Deccan Horse, Arun Vaidya's regiment, 1 squadron with this and 1 squadron with that.
Sir.
And my friend Jimmy Bora, same batch as myself, was commanding that squadron. I asked him, kya hua? He said, these little tanks started walking. They look like AMX tanks, but they're very low. But then one of my guys, they crossed on the road, we were watching them.
Sir.
Somebody said, bhai, ye log kaun hai? So one of the galas sir ke sahab, ye to wo AMX hoga chota 8 cavalry ka, because that's a very small tank. Because they're very low, but the turret is very high. Then somebody said, turret ke upar to Urdu likha hua hai, Urdu numbering. Oh, Urdu level, tab to Pakistani hai. Turn your guns around and hit them. You see?
Yes.
So when you come down this road from Biki Binduttar towards Khemkara and you're crossing Assal Uttar, these tanks are burning on the side of the Belwalkar, meanwhile, when he came down here, he took a photograph
Sir.
of a burning Pakistani tank on the side of the road like this, and huge flame coming up. See? He took that photograph and sent it to a friend of his in Bombay.
Sir.
That chap gave it to the Illustrated Weekly of India,
Sir.
whose editor was Kushwant Singh.
Kushwant Singh. Sir.
Just so. He put that on the first page.
Yes.
Illustrated Weekly was the 8 or 9 pages of
Yes.
sheets about that big. First page of burning tank, Pakistan could. Mara.
Sir.
This was picked up by the Time magazine.
Sir.
They put it on the first page. This is Bilbal's photograph. He got a lot of money for it.
Yes.
He didn't know anything. He didn't expect even a penny. So, thousands of rupees somebody gave me, this is for you, for giving that photograph. Famous photograph.
Thank you very much, sir. And this is going to be a very informative and very little known, relatively unknown information, and very useful lessons have been brought out. Thank you very much, sir.
Little point,
yes,
if you don't mind.
Yes.
What was the controversy between Harbakh Singh and General James Chaudhary?
Sir.
When Khem Karan was taken and 2 battalions ran, the information to the army chief was that Pakistan Armored Division has a clear run.
Sir.
They've captured Khem Karan, clear run to the Beas Bridge, which is the headquarters of Yogi Dehradun. If they do that, the whole of Western Command is rounded up.
Yes.
11 corps gets rounded up. The troop in front. So he asked Harbakh, who was the army commander, running from A to B like a blue-ass butterfly.
Yes.
How much confidence do you have in holding the line?
Sir.
Otherwise, you may have to withdraw to the Ravi River.
Yes.
And to the Beas. Meanwhile, I am sending a whole division and an armored brigade to the Beas to protect it from the other side in case there is a Pakistan breakthrough.
Sir.
See?
So he had thought of that contingency.
No,
Yes.
As a chief, you have to think of
Yes.
this. Because otherwise India is open.
Yes.
Once Punjab is gone, what is there to protect anybody from Delhi?
Sir.
See? So, he asked him this question. He says, otherwise, you have to either withdraw your troops to Beas or hold the line. Is the line going to be held or not? He is concerned. Meanwhile, I am going to take a few days to get a whole division, and they got the Ranchi division from east to the Satluj, to the Satluj river.
So, as you brought out, this order from General Chaudhary was based on the information what Harbakh had given to army headquarters.
Naturally.
And whereas impression is given as if General Chaudhary as chief had panicked and had asked the troops to fall back.
So, the point was, are you holding?
Sir.
Is Khem Karan going to be supported? They made a position in Assal Uttar.
Sir.
Will you support it or you won't support it?
Sir.
See, what is your feeling? Because otherwise you will have to withdraw here so that your corps doesn't get rounded up.
Yes.
The Pakistani reach Beas. So, meanwhile he moved 23 division.
Yes.
I came to know because Nirmal Puri from my regiment was a brigade major in one of the brigades. He sent me a message, "Bhai, main aa gaya hu yahan." You see, and there was an armored regiment also, 2 armored regiments were there. They came to the western bank of the Satluj, and they said, "We will move forward to the Beas if the problem arises." See, so Harbakh was running. What Harbakh did, he went and sat with Gurbakh Singh of Forde. He came and arrived there. He sat there and he ordered the battle from there to hold. That means the wishy-washy division commander had his army commander sitting with him, saying, "Come on, now do this, now do this, do that." The first thing was that Gurbakh and his headquarters are not to move from there. They had no troops between themselves and Pakistan. They were dug down, but there were no troops. See? So, Harbakh also said, they said, "You are not going to move from here. And now we have to fight the battle." See? So, as luck what happens, this is luck. What is it? If the Pakistanis had the slightest notion of how to attack properly, they wouldn't have gone through 1 or 2 bridges. They would have made more bridges. See? They didn't do that. Number 2, they got daylighted. Number 3 is that they didn't bother about the type of terrain, and when the 4 cavalry of Pakistan cut the access, that div commander, before he just marched forward, he should have taken stock of the situation. This is his mistake. But because he made those mistakes, the Pakistan attack failed. See? The Pakistan
attack failed because of their mistakes.
He wrote a book, he sent it secretly to one of our colleagues here who was a production manager of the Statesman in Delhi. He made cyclostyle copies and sent it to all of us. This is from the Pakistan viewpoint ke kya hua. And he is cursing the Major General of the Pakistan Armored Division ki artillery ka padhi unhone laga diya. He made an ass of himself. And he was killed, by the way. He 4 or 5 times came up with things and took his body away. His artillery brigade commander was next to him. He died there. We had to give his his RT brigade commander was in an APC next to the Div commander's tank.
Yes.
So RT brigade commander's body came to us and we returned it to Pakistan after the war, and his cap and stick
Yes.
is lying in the officers' mess of Deccan Hall.
Okay.
Even today it's there.
Right. Yes.
See?
Yes.
So, ye kismat. So this guftagu or a
Yes.
thing. Now when you can put the light on it anyway. You can put it light that here is the chief who is concerned about whether you're going to hold the line or not, and he is bringing his reserves
Yes.
to support you and giving you as the army commander the option
Yes.
that if you want to come back, say so, I'll allow you.
Yes.
See? But Harbakht said, that I will support the Amritsar holy city, we'll die here, but we're not going to come back. Yes?
Yes.
Grant him
That's
credit for that.
yes, sir.
But when Amrinder Wright said, he writes that Bengali was funky, he wanted to retire to Bengal, and our army commander should become the chief.
Yes.
See?
Quite right.
All right.
Thank you, sir.